Hey guys, I guess I'm glad we're back to doing these in person. There's not a lot of nights that I don't fall asleep quickly when I hit the bed, just because we're here a lot and we work hard. Last night was hard, and just because these guys who have been part of our whole off season, some of the guys who've been here a couple of years, knowing that we're going to have conversations today with them. Today's always a tough day, and it doesn't get any easier. And a lot of good people that we let go today, and a lot of hard conversations. And we were just talking about we got to snap out of it and kind of get back to work. But part of what we're trying to build here is caring about the people that are on our team and in our building. And so when you have days like this, it kind of gets emotional. So just wish all those guys well and thank them for everything they did, and hopefully we can get some of them back.
How did the trade come down with CJ? And I guess for either of you, how do you project his role in this defense?
First of all, there's a lot of conversations during the preseason, certainly in the last couple of weeks, and you're trying to find teams that have fits for what you're looking for. And not that we were unhappy with our defensive backfield or our safety position, but we were looking for opportunities to get better. And when we look at New Orleans and the depth that they had on their roster, we thought maybe it would be a fit, and the conversations kind of came together here in the last 48 hours. And, excited to add him. He's a heck of a player. He loves football. Obviously, he went to the right college. We'll just get him in here as quickly as possible. And I know our coaches will do a great job of getting him up to speed.
Where does he fit in schematically, and how do you reconcile all the time in the slot versus it sounds like he's going to play safety? How can he fit in?
Yeah, we got a good player in him. There's no doubt, and so that's our job as coaches to have a plan, and we do. I think at this point right now, it doesn't benefit us to talk about how we're playing them, where we're playing them, because we're in game plan week right now, and so that the fact that he didn't have any snaps here with us, is an unknown to Detroit, and so we'll keep it that way. But when we get good players in here, it's our job to figure out ways to use them, and we've obviously talk about that at depth, and we look forward to having them in here and letting them contribute.
For both of you guys, what did Jalen Reagor show you this summer to earn a spot? And for Howie, how much, if any, did his cap situation play into keeping him?
Yeah, I think when you look at Jalen, one of the things that one of our scouts said to me today was he was one of the only guys to practice every day. I mean, the guy brought it every day. He worked on his craft. He had a great attitude, great energy. Obviously, he's a talented guy. He's 23 years old, and we're going to do whatever we think is in the best interest of the team. And we felt like there's no doubt in our mind that he deserved a role on this team.
Nick, can you just follow up on that from a football standpoint, what you saw?
Yeah, I just felt like he made plays this summer, and it started right from the beginning, from the day one of training camp, and it continued on throughout the practices that we had. And you could definitely see the explosion that he's never lost that, right? He's had this explosion in his body, and he uses it to separate from the defense. And so I just thought he had a good camp, and he made plays, and he was more consistent this year throughout training camp.
I think one of the surprises might be Josh Sills making the roster, maybe over someone like Jack Anderson. Kind of what went into the decision to go there with Josh.
Yeah, we had a lot of tough decisions on the offensive line. Feel very fortunate to have the offensive line group we have. Obviously, we talk a lot about Stout and how he coaches those guys, and that was probably the toughest position group for us to kind of cut down. And when you talk about Sills, and he's 6'5", he's 330 pounds, he's got long arms, he's powerful, he's versatile. He can play inside or outside. Now, I'm not putting him in Canton. I start to listening to my own description, and it sounds unbelievable. But the guy's got talent in his body, and I think when you talk about Jack, they play different positions, really. And so we kind of try to figure out what we had, what we were looking for, and it was a tough call.
Hey, Howie, over the past couple of years, they've kind of changed the rules. You have the expanded practice squad, the more liberal IR designations. How much has that changed your strategy over that standpoint when you get to the initial 53?
Well, first of all, huge compliment to the way coach and his staff ran practice, our training staff, our performance staff. At this point, obviously we know there are going to be injuries, but we didn't have a lot of those decisions to make at this moment, and very grateful of that. So you just kind of go with what you're dealt at the time, and so we'll see what happens here in the next 24 hours with the roster. It's a fluid process, and we got a lot of time till the first game.
You said earlier that you were not unhappy with what you had at safety. So what do you see as like the reasoning for like releasing a guy like Anthony Harris, another veteran, and Sasha Ray and everything? Like a lot of upheaval right before the season starts.
Is that a double negative, not unhappy? Did I say a double negative, not unhappy? I didn't know. I think when you talk about Anthony, talk about one of the tough conversations. It's with Anthony Harris today. I think that was one that the two of us were not really looking forward to. But what a pro he is, and like everything he does, he handles everything gracefully. And we felt like since there was a possibility that his role had changed from when we had signed him, that because we were looking at options, he also deserved to kind of look at options himself. And obviously, you don't want to close any doors on anyone or anything right now at this time.
What is it about Gannon's system that allows slot corners to play safety and vice versa? We saw that during the summer, and then obviously here with
Yeah, first of all, I mean it's not easy, right? It's not just. But our coaches work really hard at cross training those guys. So tribute to them and the guys that are doing the cross training, that they have to work really hard to do it, and with Denard and Coach Wilson and Denard and Coach DK and Gannon all having that expertise in the defensive back room. So, but there's some different things that we're able to do where they are interchangeable, obviously, right? Of when you ask them to play the deep half, and when you ask them to play in the box, and when you ask them to play the deep third, and so there's some interchangeable parts and some looks that we show that are for us as a defense that make us multiple. When you give the offense an answer now, like if the offense knows what you're in and what you're doing, it's easier for them to pick you apart, right? When they know exactly what coverage there is to do. So a lot of it comes from the skies as well, is what I'm getting at. The skies of what you have to, how you're trying to show one picture to the offense and play another thing. So that's where a lot of those pieces are interchangeable. But like I said, those guys work their butts off to fit both roles, and we'll do that with all our guys there in the back end, with a lot of our guys there in the back end.
And as you guys know, this guy played safety. We evaluate him as a safety in college too, so this isn't like it's totally fresh for him. And this is something that you see more and more in this league. I mean, you see it with the two guys playing in Buffalo, obviously. You saw it when we got Malcolm here in Philly, and so you see a couple of our guys, not just the guy we got today, but a couple of our guys doing it because the league is about coverage. The league is about speed. It is about athleticism and instincts. And so a lot of those guys, when you're playing the nickel position, that translates to what they're trying to do also at the safety position.
You mentioned that during the draft that because you only had 5 picks, you needed your scouts to find good undrafted guys. You kept 3. You mentioned Sills already. What does Reed Blankenship and Josh Show bring to the table? And then also, who were the scouts that were responsible for finding those 3 guys?
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to give credit to people here and all over the league. I feel like when I talk about our draft last year, we had a great process after the draft. Obviously, Andy and Kat not here, who were a huge part of it, and Anthony Patch and Alan Walking and Phil and Tiny and Jim Ward and I'm gonna forget freaking and Lee and Mina and all these people and Alec and his group. They did a great job of pulling guys out. And Josh was a guy that had some injury issues in the offseason, part of this, and we had followed him. We knew him, obviously, the Alabama connection. And from day one when he came in here, he came in with the right mindset. I mean, this is a big, long, instinctive corner, physical corner, who's played at a high level in the SEC. I was saying the other day, I'm watching guys even in this year's draft, and I see Josh in man coverage in these guys. So he's a guy that we felt very fortunate to get after the draft, and our Alabama guys, Stout, Panunzio, those guys just wrapping their arms around him and our performance guys doing a great job getting him ready to play. You know, with Reed's an interesting guy. Reed's a 5-year starter. You know, it's just you don't see many of those guys going, and
419 tackles.
it's unbelievable, you know. And so, you know, Reed's one of those guys. You know, he started the last man in that group, and every day, like Coach says, we evaluate practice every day. We evaluate everything he did, and he continued to show up. He had a feel, and you know, I don't want to put too high expectations on him, but he kind of like reminded me of a guy like Quentin Michael, who we had here, and just he's got physical tools, but he's always around the ball. And credit to him and our coach for putting him in position to make plays. And we wanted to recognize that, you know, because we had a smaller draft class. We wanted to give everyone an opportunity to make this team. So it was a nice job. Excuse me. In general, do I want to have a third quarterback? We will have a third quarterback on the 69-70 man roster with Matt Leo, the 70th guy. We will have a third quarterback for sure.
Howie, in Chauncey's case, it sounded like the contract was an issue in New Orleans. Are you comfortable with where you stand there? And is he going to play out the year on that contract?
Yeah, I don't want to get into anyone's contract situation, but obviously, like, we wouldn't have made the trade if we weren't comfortable with the person and where he was. And you never want to rule anything out with any of our players on our team, but if I start getting into anyone's contract situation, I got to address all the other guys too.
With Chauncey in the short term, because he hasn't been practicing much.
This is like your dinner date. You guys in cahoots.
Because he hasn't been practicing too much. Are you comfortable that he'll be ready for week 1?
Who's this?
Chauncey.
Yeah, we'll see when we get him here. You know, like it's Tuesday. We play a week and a half from now, and we got to get him in the building, and we'll go from there.
You know, you talked about his personality. Clearly, a guy that's boisterous on the field. What do you know about him off the field during your original evaluation, and how will he fit in the locker room?
Yeah, you know, we spent a lot of time with him in the pre-draft process. I think from our perspective, you know, we did not feel like he was a fourth-round pick. You know, he kind of fell a little bit in the draft, and you know, he loves football. He's got a passion for the game, and he's not afraid to show it. And I think that what Coach does with our team is he lets them show their personalities, and he lets them be them. And I don't think you know, anything that we found on him it's malicious. You know, he just loves to play, and I think our fans like that. You know, I know our team does, and that may frustrate offensive players and receivers at times, but it's all because he's got a passion for this game, and so we like that. That makes practice fun, you know, and we'll see if he can compete with Slay.
Nick, on that topic, what's his kind of reputation among offensive coaches around the league? I mean, I'm sure he has one.
Dangerous. Yeah, dangerous. Like you got to be careful with him. You know, throwing the ball at him. He's just been around the ball a ton in his career and making plays. You know, and that, you know, trash talking. I know he gets the rap for that, but that's part of his competitiveness. And I'd lie if I said I don't trash talk a little bit, or I didn't when I played or whatever it is, and like that, and do it in practice and to raise the level of competition. I think that's just all part of it. You know, the guys trash talk all the time in here, shooting baskets out in the field. So, but the first thing that comes to my mind is dangerous, right? And I think he's one of these guys too that, when you have him on your team, I think it's really, you might not like playing against him, but you're really glad he's on your team.
Hey, Howie, this is your second significant trade with the Saints now. What is it about the relationship with Mickey Loomis that helps facilitate a lot of these deals from happening?
Yeah, Mickey's been doing this a long time. I guess I've been doing this a long time, and so there's just a comfort level about straightforward discussions. You know, like we don't kind of beat around the bush. It's kind of like, this is what I'm thinking, and you know, comes to a head pretty quickly. And I respect Mickey a tremendous amount for what he's done in this league, and it's easy to know if something's going to get done or not. You know, same thing. If something's not going to get done, like he's not going to play around. He's going to say, hey, we're not going to do something there. So I think that makes it easier, especially this time of year where you don't want to waste a lot of time on things. And I know he's going to do whatever's best for the New Orleans Saints. That's how he always rolls, and hopefully we're going to do whatever's best for the Philadelphia Eagles.
Howie, 2 years ago, your wide receiver core was Travis Fulgham, Deshaun, Alshon, Jalen, Greg Ward. Not to be negative about any of those guys, but can you just talk about how you know, you got from there to here, and how important it was to kind of reshape, you know, for Jalen and for the offense and for the team to reshape that room.
I tell my kids when they say no offense before saying something offensive is about to come out of their mouth. So that's kind of like.
You said it, I didn't.
I was thinking about my line. What remind me what you're saying?
How you got from there to here, and how important it was for Jalen to reshape the room.
Yeah, I think obviously a lot of resources used at that position, and I feel like you know it was necessary to make sure that we gave Jalen an opportunity to play with guys around him. Felt really good about where our offensive line has been really over all my whole tenure here, and except for injuries in some years, and just. As the opportunities arose, really, it just made sense to add those guys, whether they're talking about Devontae or, Quez and how he stepped up, and obviously AJ and then Zach here in the offseason. And, we're just looking for opportunities to improve the team. That's all we're trying to do, and it just so happened to work out that the best guys and the opportunities that we had happened to be at that position. And feel good about the character of those guys, feel good about the level of play that those guys can bring to our team, and they complement each other really well, which I think is important. We talk about it all the time, like they're different shapes and sizes, and they do different things really well. And so, we got to go out and play. Obviously, we haven't won a game, and so we got to get back here and get to work. And I already see my guy over here in mid-season mode. He was yelling at me because he said I was 20 minutes late to the press conference. So.
As a follow-up to that, if you think about getting off the plane from Tampa, if this was the roster that you knew you would have going into the season, what would you have thought?
You guys want to hear the best story about getting off the plane in Tampa? Can I tell the story? My favorite story. Where we get off the plane and it's like the windows. When you get in your car and the windows are frozen, and the defroster comes on, and most normal people wait to the defroster, and I just go like this and just drive like this, and just as it goes up. And so Nick calls me, and you know where I'm going with this. And he calls me and he goes, "Where are you?" And I go, "I'm like 5 minutes from my house." And he goes, how'd you do that? And I was like, I almost got in 5 accidents, but I wanted to get home. Where are you? And he's like, I just pulled out of the parking lot, took a minute for my defroster. And he goes, hey, wait a second. And he goes, Zach. And I go, what's going on? He goes, let me call you back. And I go, and he calls me back half hour later. I was like, what's that all about? He goes, Zach McPherson's car broke down, and I stayed with him till the tow truck came. And I go, you stayed with Zach McPherson for 30 minutes after we just lost to the Bucs? I said, no offense, Boo. I said, Dom would have done Dom would have done that. And he goes, that's my guy. I got to take care of him. So when you...
Dom was there, too.
I know. Dom's always there. Dom's always there. Appreciate you, too, Dom. But, when I think about that, that's what I felt like. I was like, we may have something here, with our culture. And now I got to go do my job. And I got to make sure that we get better. And we had a long list of things that we wanted to get better on. We still have things that we want to get better on. And... feel better about where we are. But again, we haven't won a game. A lot of things are going to happen. It's a long season, and we got to work harder than everyone. And I think that's got to start here tomorrow. And obviously, it started in training camp.
We have different fundamentals when it comes to scraping our cars. Apparently, he scrapes a little part and then drives home like this. I wait and I don't get out at all. I wait till it's all melted. I put it on high, but all melted, and then I go through. That's Jamestown, New York, and
We asked you at the beginning of camp what your expectations were for the season.
With this roster, with the talent on this roster.
Bob, Bob's always cutting them off. We can answer 2 more.
Oh, okay.
What did you say?
How much more how much more creative and how much more do you think you'll be able to do with this roster compared to last year?
I've said this before, right? And it's just, I wouldn't say more creative, more anything. I just know that the better the player is, the better we look at as coaches, and that's the secret to coaching. You want to be a good coach, get better players. That's the secret. But we put our work in, and our job is to put the players in. So there's no doubt we have some great players on this roster, but now it's our job to put them in position to succeed. And so, that looks different each week. Sometimes that looks creative. Sometimes that looks like, with a bunch of different motions and shifts and fancy bells and whistles. And sometimes it's like, hey, just line up in 2 by 2 and go to work. And so, So again, it's our job as coaches to put them in the best positions to succeed at what they do best. But I'm sure glad that we got some of these guys on this football team that we're able to work with, and look forward to working with them.
Howie, we asked you at the beginning of camp what your expectations were for the season. You said we had to get through camp first. Now that we're through camp, you're mostly healthy. You've made these trades. How do you feel? What are your expectations?
Do you think I'm answering that question in any way, shape, or form? Like, how long have you known me? You know? We got to have a good week and a half of practice, and we're going to have a challenge with a Detroit team that is going to be fired up in Detroit. And we'll just kind of take it week by week here. You know, a lot of things are going to happen this season. Will be ups and downs. I'm sure you guys will chronicle the ups and downs for it, and I'm excited to go on this journey with this group. But we got a lot of work to do to prepare for that. So.
Can we end now?
Anybody else got one?
Oh, we're sarcastic now. We're sarcastic now.
We were done.
Okay.